think we're getting live here.
We on a world tour with my man. Going each and every place with the mic in their hand. New York,
See if we get that feed going.
Hello.
All right, guys, what's going on?
Happy Friday, people.
Happy Friday. So we're getting into it here with episode 6, talking about the NBA All-Star Game and other events.
Yeah, this will be a lot of NBA talk. We'll review some of the games, specifically probably the Portland Warriors game the other night, and then the Warriors Suns game. So we'll be able to look at those three teams, and we'll
Warriors.
go over. Yeah, we'll talk Warriors. We'll go over the All-Star game and the three-point contest, and that'll probably be the episode.
All right, so you want to talk? Let's talk about the Warriors Trailblazers first. We can just quickly go over that one, and then we'll get into the next.
Yeah. So the Portland Trailblazers were still without McCollum, but the late scratch of Kelly Oubre totally impacted the entire game. I don't know if you heard about it, but
arm injury, right?
Yeah, but it was a stupid injury. He in practice, supposedly he went up for a dunk, and something happened where when you dunk it too hard and you rock and you're holding onto the rim and you rock, your lower body rocks upward.
Well, I personally don't know because I'm not dunking all the time on the reg.
I'm not great at dunking either. But you know what I mean though. When a guy dunks really hard and his lower body rocks.
I've lowered the hoop. I've dabbled with lowering the hoop a few times, and I've felt a few painful dunking injuries. So I know what you mean.
Couple 8-footers. Yeah. So on those 8-footers, you're rocking. Your lower body rocks, and then the guy is still holding onto the rim, but he's like this, right?
Yeah.
And then he falls on his back. And that's what happened.
So it was a back injury, or was it from the wrist?
No, he fell backwards, and then he supposedly rolled over to try and stop himself, and he landed on his wrist.
Dude, that's like every wrist injury, because I've broken my wrist, and it's always like the way you fall and the way you use your hands to protect your body. That's common.
Yeah, it's really what depending on how you're falling, it's do you want to get a concussion? Or do you want to just mess up your wrist?
You want broken ribs? You want to fucking
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
There's a certain point where it's what do you want to injure?
You got to sacrifice. Yeah, it's like sacrificing your hands and wrists for your head or your ribs. Yeah. So.
Hey, by the way, man, I like your jersey.
Thank you. Barry.
Gotta represent, man. I got my own.
You got Frank. You got Frank.
No, actually, I'm not wearing Frank. I'm actually going old school.
Oh, is that Dion? Oh, you got Dion on.
Good looks, right?
Yeah. I got Bonds. Woo.
There you go.
Nice jersey.
Good Bay Area talk right there.
Yeah, yeah. But it's great that it's not as serious as it could have been if it was a head or ribs, right? So he's gonna be obviously he didn't play against the Suns. We're still gonna talk about Portland.
His leg could have been bad too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he'll most likely be back the first game after All-Star break. But to go back to the Portland game, so he was missing, and that was huge. But the Warriors came out hot, and the announcers kept saying again and again, this looks. Kalena, he made a good point. He did say one good thing. He's not very good, but Kalena Ozubuki, the announcer, he said this team looks like a team that has practiced. And if you watch the first quarter, the Warriors were just running and gunning, and it was like playoffs, kind of vibe, because they're only playing three games versus the team, so they both split 1-1, and then this was the third game and last game they'd play each other for the rest of the year. So it was wild. It was a great game. It was a really, really, really intense game. It was up and down. No one had the lead for very long, and but the Warriors, man, the Trailblazers kept it really, really close. But, Dame was struggling the entire game. So it was just, you could feel it. You could just feel the vibes oh, shit, Dame is going to, make a shot down at the end.
But Dame is the kind of player, sorry to interject, or I'm going to interrupt you here. He's the kind of player, like Curry, he's in that same, category where it's it doesn't matter if he's cold all game long. Literally, he can miss every single shot, but in the fourth quarter, if it's a 1 or 2 point game, you still don't want him taking that shot.
No,
you know.
No, I totally agree with you. No, and you didn't interrupt me. I was going to ask you about your opinion on Dame.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's
exact. Yeah, no, totally. So you just they showed a graphic, and I think it was on First Take or something, and it showed like the last 8 years or something with 20 seconds or less, who's made the most game tying or game winning shots,
score changing kind of.
Yes. Yeah. So, and Dame led everyone. He's had 30. 30.
Well, dude, there's a reason why we see all the time his highlight reels. A lot of the times they feature his buzzer beaters. It's just it's just a day in the fucking office for him. Just another day of work. That's all he does, man. Is just hit those clutch shots. He's not phased.
No, he's not. He's not phased at all. It's just. Man, you knew it was coming. You felt. I personally felt it, and the announcers were talking about it. And they were down by 1, and then there were just a couple balls that just didn't go their way. So the Warriors were up by 1. I think it was 106 to 105 or something. And Steph drove. He totally faked someone out, and he laid it up, and it just went in and went out. It was dead in. It was halfway down the pipe, and then it popped out. And then they get a break going the other way, right? Because Steph didn't make the shot. So not only are they not up by 3 right now, but then they have it sucks because the ball made a rattle enough where they were able to push it, and then they go down the court, and then they don't double Dame. It's why are you not doubling Dame right now? No one else is shooting well. McCollum's not even out there, right? I'll take
Let Melo take it.
Not Gary Harris. Gary Trent. I would rather have, and Gary Trent's a solid player. I'd rather have Gary Trent shooting that shot than frickin' Dame, right? That was, I know Kent Bazemore is a great on-ball defender.
Or Covington either, I would love to see Covington take that one.
Yeah, Covington's a pretty solid.
Yeah, but he's not. I could see him rattling it out.
Yeah, no, totally. So it's just just a couple things. It just didn't go their way, and they should have doubled Dame.
It's one of those things. It's at the end of the game, there's literally one guy that they're going to call his name, and they're going to ask him to do something extraordinary, and it's literally going to be fucking number 0 every time.
Yeah. So all respect to Dame. It's amazing what he's doing with the team, with McCollum being out forever, right? Well, hasn't McCollum been out a month or something?
Yeah, and also, so McCollum's been out, but you got to hand it to Melo, man. 22 off the bench, 8 of 13 from the field. It just didn't seem like they could defend him.
No, they couldn't. No, he just got in the post. He was just, man,
time machine.
Wanamaker, who I'll go into in a second. Wanamaker's terrible. He was just Wanamaker 6'2", and he's in the post trying to guard Melo, and he just rises over him, and it's just oh my god.
Hey, so
yeah.
Hey, I was listening to KNBR 680, local Bay Area radio, and Greg Papa, you know him. He's around all the different Bay Area sports teams.
Yeah, totally.
I heard him have a take on Kelly Oubre's situation. A lot of the guys in the room were hoping that we would re-sign him. I know you're on that page. If we could get him somehow. He was saying he wasn't a fan of him, and
Greg Papa?
Yeah, it surprised me.
When did he say this?
This was 2 days ago. I was driving to the dump at work, and I was listening in. And I'm like, damn, Greg Papa really shouldn't be talking NBA from what I was hearing. He was saying that he would prefer to have a guy like Wanamaker take those more minutes. He said he likes Wanamaker's defense better, and I was just, I would love to hear you talk about it because it was something that would totally rile you up,
Oh my god! Wait, so he said this recently?
He said this 2 days ago after the Portland Trailblazer game. He just doesn't seem like a big Oubre fan. I don't know if he's too.
I think he's literally just salty because they brought in Bonte, from the Morning Roast, the homies. They got the, Kate and Bont. So if you guys don't know 95.7, they have their morning roast.
So he was
great.
680. Greg Papa's 680.
Yeah. But they don't have him. They have Bonte in his spot now. You know? Like,
Oh,
Tucker
yeah.
Mullins. Like, Papa's not even in there anymore. I think he's just salty because that is the most irrational statement I've ever heard. Where is the defense behind that?
I don't know,
Wanamaker's
man.
terrible. If anything, oh my God, you're right. It totally riles me up.
And then, yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he should stick to baseball or something. I don't know.
No, this is the type of take where there's a reason that they have Bonte Hill on there now and not him. You know, as talking to the ex-players. You know, like Darrell Wright, Mullins, and I forgot the lady's name. She's a Hall of Famer, but that's just ridiculous. That makes no sense. Wanamaker's plus minus is terrible on the season.
I just haven't really liked what I've seen, and it just surprises me that someone can like pick out Wanamaker. It kind of reminds me of like a take one of our buddies would make. I don't want to get into who.
Yeah, yeah. We're not gonna name people, but it's just such an outlandish take. There's no evidence to support that statement.
No.
It's like you only make that statement because you personally don't like maybe how he acts. You know, the blow kisses.
Yeah, I totally feel you on that. I was going to say it seems personal, not about game.
It totally seems personal.
Yeah.
And maybe he's one of those old heads that doesn't like the blow kisses when you yam on someone, which I think is like the most savage thing ever. Like, that's... Blowing a kiss to someone is so much more savage than like saying F you or, you know, like he's like
dude, you know, I looked him up and he's only 59. I thought he was way older. I know that's still kind of old, but
he's barely older than our parents. That's
right?
Crazy.
It's crazy. But yeah, well,
that makes it's definitely personal. It's definitely personal.
Enough talking about Greg Papa though.
Yeah, so are we gonna the Portland game, so the Warriors ended up I do want to go into Wanamaker talk though.
All right, and that's kind of what I was segueing to.
Yeah. So the Warriors, to just say the Warriors lost, you know, on that game 3. Oh, well, we didn't go over the charge.
You want to talk about it?
I do want to talk about that. I do. You can't not talk about the charge. So if you guys didn't tune in, so the Warriors were then down by 2. Yeah, the Warriors were down by 2 points after games 3. And then they went down, and Steph was getting doubled. And then the seas parted, right? The sea totally parted. And Draymond's at the top of the key, and he just drives. And then Dame comes out of the restricted area. He's underneath the backs, and he plants this, and he sets a screen. He sets up for a charge. And it's just, the ref called it, but it was one of those. So he called the charge, and then that was it. The Warriors lost, right? Because that's it. They're down by 2 with 4 seconds left. Draymond drives. He takes out Dame, and that's it. The ref called it, and it's one of those tough situations. What it reminded me of was, so Dame's right foot was moving a little bit, but it was definitely one of those calls where whatever was called on the court is going to be the call.
Yeah.
It's not going to get overturned. It was like, you know, it's like ball possession or crossing the plane, you know, when they don't have a great view in football.
Yeah.
It was exactly like that. I was like, Dame's right foot is still moving a little bit, but he set up mostly, but it's not enough to overturn the call, and that's what happened.
That's always a bummer, too.
I just think it's whack that the ref called that. 'Cause
at that point in the game.
But it's also tough because in basketball, you can't challenge a non-call, right? You know, football, you could challenge a non-call.
I think, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm indifferent about it.
They don't want to slow down the game, you know?
Yeah.
Like football. Football, you could, like, if they didn't call passing interference, right? You know, they changed that rule. You can call a non-call. In basketball, so, I don't know if you don't know this, but you can't challenge a non-call. So, if that happened, I almost think you should be able to challenge a non-call because it's too up in the air, right? Like if they had not called a charge there, then the Portland coach could not have challenged that play. You know, I think that's a little whack, because then it's like when you're able to challenge a non-call once. What I like about it is that refs don't feel so inclined to call, you know, call a penalty or a foul, right?
Yeah.
Because they could look at it and make it up, right? You know? You could challenge a non-call. I'm going into it a little bit too much, but it was upsetting. But the Warriors let it slip away before that. I'm not going to blame refs. You know, that's stupid to blame refs. You put yourself in that position.
A couple calls didn't go their way, but at the end of the day, they should have won that game, and the Trailblazers made the better shot. Yeah,
totally. And it's just like, you know, you can't be blaming the refs. There are only a couple circumstances, like, you know, like the Kings-Lakers playoffs back in the day. Like, that was sus. But
they need to make like a documentary on that.
Unless it's something like, you know, they're literally just cheating. You know, they're totally swaying the game.
I do think the NBA of all leagues, in my opinion, is the most rigged.
I do think. I think it comes with the fact that, like,
it makes the most money. So, like, you know what I mean? Getting into that Sacramento Kings-Lakers series, they didn't want the Kings in there because they're not going to produce money on a level that Kobe and the Shaq Lakers would have.
Yeah, you when you say it makes the most money, you mean it's the most bang for your buck.
It's the most profitable.
Yes, exactly. Because football makes more money, but it costs more, right? Yeah. So, I totally agree with you. I think the factor with the refs is that, you know, it's more personal. You know, the players more. You don't know the 70 guys on the football team or the baseball team. You know, I mean, it's a little bit more, but, you know, you're in contact. The refs are running the whole, like, you're not wearing pads. You're next to the guys the whole game. It's more closely spaced, and, you know, it's why in basketball, more so than any other sport, the great players, you know, get more foul calls, you know, than the normal players or the average Joe player, and that's just how basketball is.
And they also do become a little more nuanced with, like, how to get those calls.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, so I wanted to talk about the Warriors, Suns, and then Kings, Trailblazers, but I feel like we should get into some Wanamaker talk because I know that you wanted to get into that.
Yeah,
let's hit that one real quick.
Yeah, so Greg Papa saying that, I think that's ludicrous. Brad Wanamaker has been terrible. Like, he's actually, like, I think the games that I've been watching, and I've watched every game this year, like every Warrior game, he averages like 2 missed layups a game. Like, just misses layups, and then he forces these threes. He made 1 3 in the Phoenix game last night, but it's just he's a strong defender, I guess, kind of, but he's not even in the same realm as a defender as Kelly Oubre.
And his field goal percentage has just been literally...
It's terrible.
It's been 35.8%. And I'm not talking about his three-point percentage right now. That's his field goal percentage is 35%, which is down significantly from last year's 2019-20. Or actually, wait, did he... Oh, yeah, so 2019-2020, he shot 45%. Not amazing.
On the Celtics.
But that's better.
Yeah.
And then this year he's at 35. It's definitely not a good look going into the All-Star break.
Well, you know what it is.
23% from 3.
20, Jesus.
So he's taking way too many threes. That's affecting his whole thing. Because he's only making 2 out of 10.
Yeah. It's just... He's just... You know Brad Stevens? Did you know that Brad Stevens... Because you know Brad Stevens and Kerr have a really good relationship? I don't know.
I could see that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do. They have a really good open dialogue. That's what I've read a lot. And it was Brad Stevens it was Brad Stevens' words that kind of told Kerr. He told Kerr to go after him. He says he's a good player. But you know what the problem with this is the problem with Wanamaker, and it's like you could see that he's a good vet, but when he's in his role, like at the end of the bench,
Is he a
of
vet
like
though? I thought he's only been in the league for a couple years.
well, he's been overseas. You know what I mean? Like
Because
he's been all around. You know, like Jeremy Lin, like the Jeremy Lin player. You know, just all around kind of. I mean, he never had that spotlight ever, but I
think he's only had 3 seasons in the NBA. Yeah,
I know, but he's played overseas for like 8 years or something.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's still like
he's got experience. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
He's older. He's not young.
Yeah. So it's just the problem with it is on the Celtics, he had like 5 or 6 great players. Like right, he had Jalen, he had Tatum.
You could hide him.
He had Al Horford. Well, it's not that, but you know, great players make the not great players better, right?
Yeah, because they get more open looks.
Exactly. So he doesn't have the talent to create his own shot, you know? Like, he doesn't have, and I know he's a point guard, but it's like he needs more great players around him. That's what Kerr wasn't saying it, but he was alluding to it, right? I think if Clay was out there, Wanamaker would be playing just like he did on the Celtics.
He could be like a good Brandon Rush, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like, but he can't do that, right? He can't, not on this team. So it's just, I after watching Nico Mannion and Poole, like
he also makes a lot of mistakes, man.
He does.
I think it's getting to his head at this point. I feel like he knows he's playing bad, and it's causing him to play worse.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, he can't. I feel like it's weird because he's a vet. Okay, you're right. So you said he's not a vet. He's only played a couple of years. He's not one of those guys that's good at playing with or teaching young players. Him and Wiseman have butted heads, right, on missed lobs. Like,
well, dude, that's what I'm trying to say is he's only played in the NBA. This is his 3rd season. He didn't ever get a ton of minutes in the first place. So it's not like he's this, like, you know, he's not the kind of vet that we're used to, you know, guys like Jermaine O'Neal or David West, you know, people who played big minutes in their earlier portions of the career and then they transition into role players and bench.
Yeah.
He's not anything like that. He's not
you don't need vet. No, he's not. But like, you know, I don't feel like you need a bunch of NBA experience to be a good mentor and to teach young guys, and he's just not that. He doesn't have that personality. He needs to play with a bunch of talented guys. Like that's what he needs to play with.
Yeah.
So
maybe he'll go to the Lakers or something.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's a terrible player. I think with this team and this team's needs, he's just not a playmaker, man. He's unnecessary. Like, he's just an unnecessary luxury.
And then from my naked eye, just watching the Warriors throughout the season, another player that kind of stood out to me, and he hasn't really been playing as much lately, but another player who his minutes didn't really seem too effective was Mulder. I don't know what you think of him. Be curious.
Yeah, so Mulder, I believe it's weird, because when I watch Mulder play, it's like he has a couple plays a game where he's either it's like he either has two different types of games. I'm a little tired right now.
He's playing better than Wanamaker, I think.
Oh yeah, no, light years at Wanamaker.
Yeah,
he's just not an aggressive player. He has all the physical tools. You know, he's got like a 7-foot wingspan. He's got a really high vertical, and he can shoot the three very well, right? It's shocking to me that he's in the 40s, because when I watch him play, when I see him play, I feel like he misses a lot more than he makes. But
that's what I'm trying to say is when I watch, he doesn't look that great, but his stats show, and I'm like,
stats, yeah, isn't that weird?
He's a quiet guy, I guess, on the court. He gets garbage time points, maybe.
Maybe that's
padding. Maybe he's padding.
That could be it, but that's a lot of padding. What is he at, 42%? Like, and he shoots a good amount.
His 43% from the field, 40.9. I'll give him 41% from 3.
How many threes is he attempting a game?
He's attempting 2.7.
Okay, so
as opposed to last year. Wait, who did he play? He was on the Warriors last year, right? So last year he attempted 7.4 a game.
What was he making last year?
30.8%. He jumped to a whole 10%.
30.8. Wow. Well, I mean, there was no one out there. I'm not going to take that year was trash. I'm not.
That was a forgotten year. I'd like to forget about it.
If you played well, I mean, even Pascal, like he was the only scoring option on that team, so his offensive numbers are going to be a little inflated. Or he does get the best defender, so I don't trust last year's stats at all. You can't trust him either way. So, but Mulder's really solid. I think he's gone though. I want Juan or like Poole or Nico Mannion.
So Poole, let's talk about Jordan Poole and let's talk about the Suns game really quick.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Nico Mannion, interesting night. 3 of 10 from the field. He had 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. He did a good job filling up the score sheet.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Poole. That was probably the biggest story. 10 of 16. His best game in the NBA, probably up to date. 26 points.
It was his point. That was his. That's his career high.
26 points, 5 of 10 from 3. It was really good to see him break out there, and especially coming from me as someone that's been hard. I've been a really hard critic. I'm just gonna come out and say,
hater. No, you're a hater.
I've been a hater of Jordan Poole
since the day they drafted him.
Since day one. The kid walked into the league, and he just had this smile on his face that I just felt like he didn't earn. I don't know what he did in Michigan that made him feel like he was that great of a player, but when he came into the league and he just started bricking threes all the time, I kind of just took a seat back in my chair and I just kind of watched, and that just continued. And I'm coming out right now. I'm saying I'm a hater, but just because I'm a hater doesn't mean I can't appreciate that kind of performance. 5 of 10 from 3, man. You got to give it to him there. That was fucking excellent. Got to hand it to the kid.
So, do you think? Okay, let's see how your body.
I think.
I'm just curious.
I think that his time in the G League has been well spent.
So you don't think this is a one-off game? You think he's improving?
I think his time in the G League. I don't think he earned being on a starting roster in the NBA. You know, that was a blessing for him to be in that situation last year, and it totally showed to me that he wasn't ready. And I think sending him down to the G League with a guy like Nico Mannion, a highly touted, recruited player, and like both of those guys in that respect, I just think the G League was great for him to like kind of learn. That's where the real dogs are. It's like sending a rich kid down into the, hey, you got to earn your own, you got to earn your keep here, man.
Earn your stripes.
He was given too much from the start, and he needed to earn it. And now he's starting to really understand the game, I feel like.
It's ironic from what you're saying. He's smiling because all I see him now is with a grimace, and he's got like dead eyes.
What did I say though? I said he came into the league with a smile and a mustache.
I just said that. Yeah,
I'm sorry. You're right.
I just said that. I said ironically. What you said he had a smile. I don't see him smile much, or it's like a scoff smile, like
yeah.
He's.
You know what I'm talking about, there, right?
Yeah, no, he was like a happy guy. He's not a happy guy anymore. Not that he's not happy, but it's like he's more serious.
But it's like, what are you happy about, bro? That's what my question was. I'm like, hey, man, what's there to be happy about?
I don't know. That's an old head move where you're mad at a guy for smiling a lot.
I was being an old head, but you have to admit his season last year. If there's any player that granted some hate, I feel like his performance last year was hate-worthy.
I've always felt you're too hard on a rookie. He was a rookie. Like he was a rookie.
I mean, I give Wiseman a hard time sometimes when he makes some ill-advised moves.
Yeah, but there's a difference. But I feel like there's a difference, right? Poole was drafted at the back end of the first round.
Yeah.
When you're a top pick, you have some time to develop, right? Because they have more invested in you, right? He doesn't have to worry. Poole is at the back of the first round.
But he did that to himself.
Okay, but I'm just trying to say there's more pressure the later you go in the draft because the more likely you'll get cut.
Okay, well, so he was the later pick of the draft, but he came into the league like he was a lottery pick. That's the attitude. That's the vibe I got.
That's your old head. Yeah, that's your old head.
But no, but you understand.
I didn't see
you
that.
know that, and we've talked about this on many occasions. Me and you are good at picking up vibes, and I guess on this situation, we've had differing views.
Yeah.
I just felt like when I watched him play, and I watched many games, he was taking shots that he was very he had a lot of confidence, and he didn't have a lot to show for with that. It was like, where's that confidence coming from?
I honestly think it was him. We're getting too into vibes right now, but I felt like he was kind of putting on a show. He was faking it till he made it. I don't think he was actually confident. When he was smiling, when he bricked something, I think he was like trying to show confidence when he wasn't confident yet. Do you get what I mean?
But I just don't. I think sending him down into the G League and playing with those dogs down there.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
That was important. I was so happy to see him get sent to the G League because I was thinking maybe there's a chance that he can come out of that with a positive situation, and that's what happened.
Yeah. No,
I didn't think he was NBA ready.
We're not disagreeing. You're assuming that I'm disagreeing with you.
Well, I feel like you're starting to get a look into my perspective here.
No, I always thought they should have. Well, they were terrible last year, so they were allowed to play him at the NBA level.
Yeah.
I always thought he was going to have to go down to the G League and prove himself.
Okay.
He's a back end first round pick. Not many of those guys stay on the team the whole year. Okay, like I was expecting him to go to the G League, and he in the bubble. By the way, he averaged over 22 a game in Orlando. That's freaking crazy.
In the bubble, the Warriors didn't even go to the bubble.
The bubble. Sorry, the bubble.
Wait, what?
The Orlando. Well, wait, was that?
The Warriors didn't make the bubble.
The last bubble. Yeah, no, but the G League had a bubble too.
Oh, so he played well in the G League.
But there was the G League bubble. Whatever. The entire G League he's been playing well, but the G League had a bubble too. You didn't know that?
I did know that. I think it's just
he was averaging over 22 a game, and then Mannion, when he just got sent down, and Poole continued his scoring.
Yeah.
Mannion was averaging 7 assists, and he was averaging like 3 or 4 threes a game. But anyways, okay, we're done disagreeing.
Mannion was pretty consistent, 3 of 5 from 3 there.
The one that I want to talk about Mannion too. The one thing I would like to say about Poole is that Poole shows that he knows his role. His job is to go in there and frickin' score. Like he's just gonna go. And you know what? I was also a little shocked with his passing. He made a couple of good passes. He passed to he cut and he passed out to an open Brad Wanamaker who made his first 3 in, 2 weeks. But you could see how Poole could be a really, really, really solid bench scorer who can play with Steph and Clay if need be. I love his driving. He's turning into kind of a, you know how he came in as just a 3-point kind of specialist? He's kind of a slasher with a decent 3-point shot. That's what he's developing into, and I love it.
Hey, so if you're Damian,
he's never smiling. I love it.
If you're Damian Lee, and yeah, he definitely came out of the G League and he looked way better prepared than he was last year.
And his shot looks more fluid too. Have you noticed that? He's got a really pretty jumper.
And dude, you know what, dude? When you see that kind of thing happen, and I hope he continues that, because at the end of the day, he's on the Warriors. I'm not going to hate him for being on my team, or for whatever he did last year. I'm over it. I'd like to see him improve. If you're Damian Lee right now, and Jordan Poole looks focused coming out of the G League, they play the same position. The guy goes off 26 points, 10 to 16 from the field. That's very efficient. Are you worried if you're Damian Lee? Do you feel like he could be gunning for your spot at some point at the end of the season?
No, I don't. I'm not worried about that. I think if anyone's going to get cut out of the 15-man roster, it's going to be Mulder or Wanamaker. Okay. Damian Lee, I like.
And I'm not talking about getting cut. I'm more so.
Minutes?
I'm talking about minutes.
But Damian Lee knows his role. He doesn't care. Damian Lee doesn't give me that vibe where he'd be mad about that,
Okay, maybe not worried, but do you think that there's a chance that, and I'm not even going to put you into Damian Lee's perspective here then.
Yeah, Poole, I know what you're saying.
Do you think Poole could be gunning for his minute?
Poole, not gunning for his
Not gunning, but do you think he is
I honestly,
on a trajectory course for that?
Yeah, sorry, I'm cutting you off. I think that he's going to take Brad Wanamaker's minutes. Brad Wanamaker is obsolete now. did you see Poole kind of brought up the ball sometimes? Like Poole could kind of play that point guard a little bit, not much. But I like Mannion, or I don't think it's Damian Lee who's going to lose the minutes. I think it's Brad Wanamaker. Brad Wanamaker, I don't know, he can't play with this team. He just doesn't make anyone else better. And then he's shooting what? You said 20% from three? Like he's terrible. If anyone were to lose minutes, it would be Brad Wanamaker.
So the game ended up being quite a blowout. The under hit, which is always good to see when you're betting on that. Which is
which the Suns game?
Yeah, which is what I.
Okay, so we're now jumping to the Suns. Okay.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about the Suns. I mean, we were talking about Poole's 26 points. That was against the Suns.
Yeah. Oh yeah, crap. Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, yeah, that was the same game. Okay,
we've been talking about the Suns, buddy.
I know it's been a lot of
long day. I know, long week. We're here though. Friday.
Long day. Yeah, Friday.
Cheers, man.
The under hit. Yeah, cheers. I would like to say that. So we've talked about Jordan Poole a lot. Nico Mannion. So Nico Mannion, he really impressed for being in the G League for like not that long. What's it been, a month? Like
probably about. They started the G League in February, so yeah, about a month.
It's been it's been a couple weeks then, but whatever, 3 weeks. It's shocking. He looks way better than he did the first couple games. It's actually insane. It's more night and day than Jordan Poole. I feel like even it's over such a short period of time. He looks confident. He's driving now. He's always been a good distributor.
I like his approach to the game. That's the one thing that I'll say. I think that he approaches the game in a very creative. He looks for his teammates to create for his teammates. I really genuinely enjoy watching him play the game. I think it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Have you noticed his 3-point shot looks way better too? Like
3 of 5 from 3, baby. It's pretty efficient.
His mechanics too. It doesn't look as flat. He's got more arc under it.
I don't think he can get it off as quickly as I'd like to see. However, I don't think teams are really looking to stop him with a 3-pointer right now. He's very new.
I feel like his best role, it's not to the extent as a big making a wide open 3, but he's got to hit those.
He's kind of like a Schroeder. Like he doesn't need to hit a 3 all the time.
I don't want him taking contested threes. I want him to take those big man or he's wide open threes where, like Steph has brought 2 guys over.
Yeah.
That's where that's where we need to look at these guys. I feel like we got to hold these with Poole, Mannion, even Wiseman.
Hey, so Steph Curry on the offense, the team ranks pretty highly. I think they're like a 122 or 120 offensive rating. When he's off the floor, they're terrible. They're a 90 or something, or an 8, maybe a high 80. The team is literally built, as Draymond's referenced after the Portland game, the team is built to score with Steph Curry on the floor. I feel like going forward after this All-Star break, and we saw it night and day, right, with the Phoenix Suns blowout, this team's got to figure out how to get the job done without Steph. I mean, he's almost got to go for 35 points for them to even have a chance at winning sometimes.
I think they're not going to be able to. Without Oubre is the only other one I have confidence in on the offensive end. They're not going to be able to do it without Oubre. Because
Wiggins can't do it by himself.
Wiggins is not aggressive.
He's a good third guy. He's a good third option.
He could even be second. Yeah, no, his perfect role is third option, definitely. Yeah. But he could even be a second, but he needs another aggressive guy out there or he can't do anything, And Wiggins is in a big slump right now. I got to say that.
He is. I mean, I feel like ever since we had that talk and you were like, I haven't seen Wiggins, and this was off the podcast, by the way, guys. We had that talk, and Dean, you mentioned that Wiggins was in the conversation with Steph and a few other players that he hadn't scored under double digits since the season started.
Yeah.
After that talk, we totally jinxed it.
That was before the Laker game. That was
9 points.
The Laker
Ever
game.
since then, he's just been really having a tough time.
Well, he's actually been bad this entire month.
Yeah.
You don't see it because we talked about it.
His plus minus was minus 22 against the Suns.
Yeah.
That was the worst out of anyone by a long
Okay,
time.
okay, hold on. Let me get to my point. Hold on. So, Wiggins, even when he was going over double digits, he does think it's like he works in the shadows, right? Like you see him clamp on someone like defensively, but it hasn't been since January that he's hit like a big shot at the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
So this entire month, his points have been up, and his I think his normal shooting percentage has been solid-ish, but something's a little off with him. He's been missing layups. His free throw shooting is atrocious. I think he's shooting like 60%. Like it's terrible. And his 3-point percentage, I think for February, he shot like in the 20s, the high 20s. Like I don't think he hit 30. His shot, there's something going on. Maybe all the wear and tear of him like locking in defensively has like made him tired, because I feel like through the entire month of February, his shot has looked flat, and it's like it almost looks like Draymond's shot, like not the backpack, but it's so like it comes in like this, right? Steph's goes like this.
It's definitely a low arc.
Very flat. And when a shot is that flat, it's either you're a freaking like huge guy like Wiseman, or it's due to fatigue your legs, right?
Well, maybe he needed this All-Star break. Hopefully, getting some days off here.
That's what I was getting at. I expect him to be better out of the All-Star break, but his free throw, I don't even care about his 3-point shooting. His free throw percentage has to come up to 80%.
He's at like a LeBron level right now.
Worse. LeBron shoots, 74, 75?
I'm just talking about recently. LeBron's been missing.
Oh, yeah, recently he's been bad. But Wiggins, most of his career, I thought he shot like 80% from the free throw line.
Yeah, he's never been excellent. I watched him even back in his Kansas days. He was kind of missing some free throws there.
Yeah, but you got to shoot. I would love if he shot 80%. You got to shoot 70%.
That's a big ask.
I don't. For a non-big, I don't think it's that big of an ask.
No, I know, but I'm
talking
about
shocked.
Wiggins has just never particularly been a great free throw shooter. I feel like maybe he's had a couple good seasons.
But on Minnesota, I remember him being in the high 70s and the 80s, I thought. Maybe I could be wrong.
You know what? I'm going to look for you right now. And then
can you look? I'd really appreciate
after that, let's maybe allude to the All-Star.
Yeah, we've talked about the Warriors a lot.
We've been on a 35-minute Warriors spree here.
Yeah.
Not that that's wrong, though, right, guys?
While he's doing that, I would like to say one thing. The Suns have been the hottest team in the entire league. The Suns look freaking great. Like, I'm really impressed with the Suns. The Suns are going to end the year in the 4th spot behind.
Free throw percentage has never been above 76%. Last year, he had 76%. This year, 76%. His worst year is 64%. He kind of averages around.
What's his career?
He's
70?
a career 72.
Okay, all right, you're right. But okay,
he's never going to be an 80% ever.
That's fine. I don't care about that. You got to make 3 out of 4. You got to try. And
you want to get up to 75?
I want to get 3 out of 4.
Well, you know what, dude? He's doing. I think recently he's had a slump because he's 76% on the year.
No, in January he was shooting like 88%.
Well, maybe Steph's got to pull him aside and give him a pointer or two there.
Yeah, I mean you can't teach eye-hand coordination though.
I was just kind of joking there.
I know. But okay, so we talked about Wiggins. Okay, I would like to add at the end, the Suns are in the Pacific Division.
Shout out to the Suns, man.
Shout out to the Suns. We the Valley. The Suns have been the hottest team in the league. I think even more than the Jazz. The Suns look freaking great. It seems like they have 10 guys that they can like roll out there and be totally confident in them.
Well, dude, they got so much talent on that team, man. Just like down to guys like Jay Crowder, right? Like
Jay Crowder. It's like, why doesn't a team keep him? Why is he a journeyman?
I think he's expensive. I think he's expensive.
That might be it.
I think he's too expensive to stay permanently, but he's just expensive enough to be a really good role player.
He's
If that
like
makes sense.
it makes sense. It makes sense. Some of the like the Celtics had too many
They don't
mouths
want to commit
feed.
to him on a long-term deal.
The Celtics and the Heat had too many mouths to feed.
He's like right in between, like, like the level of like getting a nice long-term deal and like just being solid.
I mean, he's a borderline starter.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
I mean he can hit
Like-
threes and play defense. You
Like
gotta love it.
he's like what? So five guys, 30 teams, 150 guys. I would say he's in that 150 to 200 range in the entire NBA. Right? He's in the top half of talent.
Yeah, he has his nights for sure.
Yeah, no, I love Jay Crowder, man. If the Warriors had Jay Crowder, I'd be stoked. He's great. But yeah. So the Suns are really impressing me. I love the direction that they're going. So we could talk about the All-Star game now. And
How about this? Coming out of the All-Star break, let's do one pick kind of thing here. Who is your pick on the Western Pacific Division? Who is your pick to come out strong? And let's leave the Warriors out of this. We can talk about our thoughts on them, but who do you think coming out of this All-Star break is going to really put the gas on?
I think the Lakers, but I don't know, when does Anthony Davis come back? That was
I think he comes back. Right?
Was it?
I heard it was.
Oh, is Anthony Davis? Oh, what am I thinking? Anthony Davis is done, right?
No, I think he has a chance of coming back for playoffs. Wait, Anthony Davis return.
In Achilles, that's wrong then, Brady, because he would be.
I thought I read.
He'll be out 4 weeks. Oh,
I thought I read Achilles on Bleacher Report, but maybe I was wrong.
I don't know what it is, but he on February 19th, which was 2 weeks ago, Frank Vogel, so their coach, said he'd be out a month. So he'll be back. I think it'll be the Lakers.
The Lakers?
To be honest. I think it'll be the Lakers.
I'll take Clippers in that.
You like what you see from the Clippers?
No, I don't, but I think that coming out of the All-Star break, they could figure it out. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are very good, and I think that team can snap out of it.
I think it's going to be the Lakers. I think it's going to be the two LA teams that benefit the most from this break.
Yeah.
The Warriors will benefit too because they got older players, but I think the Kings will stay in dead last. I think the Warriors. Yeah, I think the Warriors will be behind. The Suns.
They got a lot of competition there.
Yeah. I honestly think the break kind of hurts the Suns because the Suns,
they're scorching.
The Suns are scorching, and this is like the worst time they could have gone on a break, right? I hope they didn't peak too early. You know how that.
You want to click like 2 weeks before the playoffs.
The playoffs, yeah, that's the sweet spot. So hopefully they weren't one of those teams that peaked earlier in the season. Nothing has told me that will be the case though, because they look great. But I do think it's going to hurt them a little bit record-wise because they're playing such great basketball and they're taking a week off.
So let's get into the All-Star game. LeBron James and Kevin Durant drafted. LeBron took Giannis first pick. I don't really think that there's much else there. I mean, he's definitely probably the most talented player in that pool, aside from KD and LeBron. So they're going to he's going to pick the most talented player. And then KD went ahead and
Kyrie.
Did he take Kyrie first?
Yeah, he did.
So I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, he did.
Wait, was it really Kyrie first?
I told you. I watched it. You didn't watch it.
No, I did. I just watched it, but I didn't. I thought he took Kyrie second.
No, he took Kyrie first.
So he totally took Kyrie first, and he's not going to pick. I think actually.
Wait. He picked Kyrie and then Embiid, then Harden. I think.
I don't think you're right there.
Did he pick Embiid first?
No, wait. He picked.
I thought he picked Kyrie first. Gosh damn it.
Okay, wait.
Maybe he picked Embiid. It might have been Embiid.
Because I think there's a chance it was either Steph or Kyrie, and it was like, of course he's going to pick Kyrie.
No, I think you're right. I'm not 100% sure. I think he picked Embiid. I think they split. I think it went Giannis, Embiid.
But you know what I mean? It was one of those.
Maybe Kyrie went.
But
first.
it was one of those moments. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. In the draft,
Yeah.
KD had an option to pick Steph or Kyrie, and it was like you knew what was going to happen because, of course, LeBron's not going to team with Kyrie, and KD's not going to team with Steph because that's just not good looks for them going forward. You know what I mean?
I mean,
especially for KD.
Steph wouldn't care, and I don't think KD would care. But Kyrie, that's a circumstance that
but you know what I mean? Kyrie. Like when you have crazies like that.
Kyrie's like the moodiest player in the entire league.
So if KD were to have taken Steph over Kyrie, you know, it was just one of those moments where like a teammate issue could have arisen. So it was wise of KD to pick his guys. He picked Harden.
But see, the thing is, I don't think Harden would have cared if he got picked by KD or not, right?
No, Harden just wants to go to the strip club after the game.
Yeah, nice. That's a good call. I think that the fact that KD had already picked Kyrie, I think then maybe Harden would be like, "Why didn't you pick me?" But I don't. That's not. Harden's not a guy where I think that he would care about it.
No, but Kyrie totally is.
Kyrie would totally throw little like behind the scenes.
And KD is the kind of guy that's like kind of anxious about how his teammates feel.
Well, he wants to keep him happy, and KD's like whole thing where he's like, "I believe in Kyrie" and all this stuff. I do feel like he's walking around mines dealing with Kyrie. I feel like that's what it is dealing with Kyrie. Like one day he could throw a little fit and get mad about the world being people being hungry in the world, and he could just not show up to practice, and it's just I love Kyrie's talent. I've always thought he's a drama queen, and he calls the fans stupid, and he thinks we're all ignorant when he's a flat earther. It's just Kyrie's just really annoying to me. As the years have gone on, I've liked LeBron more, and I've liked Kyrie less. I do have to say. Did you know that? Did you know that this is the first time ever Steph and LeBron will be on any team?
Wow. So yeah, I wanted to get into the teams.
That's the crazy thing. Everyone was talking about
the teams. So my buddy reacted. Grayson.
Yeah.
His reaction was, "Oh, LeBron picked Steph." He's like, I don't like that because you know how people are kind of murmuring. I don't think it's going to happen, but like, oh, Steph and LeBron could team up at some point.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that in any sort of way? I didn't because I knew that would have to have happened because KD was going to pick Kyrie, and that's the best.
I mean, we all knew that. I think most people knew that was what was going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
It made sense.
Even Ernie said, "I'm going to be." I remember Ernie. I was watching it. Ernie's like, "I'm going to be." He didn't say I'm going to be stoked, but he said something else. He's like, "I'm going to be really stoked if you pick this next guy who I think you're going to pick," and then he said Chef Curry, and then Ernie's like, "Yeah, man, I love Ernie."
Dude, I love LeBron's drafts. LeBron killed it on the draft.
Yeah, no, LeBron picked a freaking great team, and
KD was concerned with keeping the crazy happy.
Yeah,
and he ended up with this like kind of mesh, like mostly East, because he had most of the Eastern players like Bradley Beal and Joel Embiid and the Nets guys, and then he took Kawhi Leonard because obviously you want to get the best player available. But LeBron was just feeding off of KD's draft picks to keep his team happy. So LeBron ends up with Joker, Giannis, Steph, Luka. They're literally set up to just put up 150, like easy.
It's funny because even though that LeBron has spoken out against the All-Star game and he thinks it's stupid underneath the world circumstances, and I could see it. But
he had tactics, man.
LeBron looked like he was having fun.
He had strategy, man.
Yeah, no, but LeBron looked like he had a good time. KD did not want to be there. Like, you could tell KD sitting in that chair, he's like
I feel like the vibes on the LeBron squad are just going to be way better.
Yeah. And then KD was like, did you see KD's face when LeBron's like, Chef Curry? And he showed no expression at all. not happy, not sad.
Well, that's the way KD's always been, especially since him joining the Warriors.
Yeah,
he's just really
no,
embraced.
he was happy at the start, but
he's kind of embraced being this kind of like he thinks he's this lone wolf kind of figure.
I don't mind KD. He just he
comes off emotional, but like not.
He's trying
emotional.
to find his way out there. No, but I look at KD like a regular guy like that. Like things just piss him. Kyrie's like a whole nother level of like, really, bro?
KD
like,
gets salty though. You got to admit.
No, he does, but he gets salty like you or I get salty if we were famous or something. Like if someone's talking crap about what KD's emotional state is like a normal guy that's just kind of annoyed with people talking about him all the time and stuff. Kyrie's like another level of like, I don't know what the hell is going on in that guy's head.
It's his craft, man. He's an artist.
Yeah, he's so like...
He's extra.
He totally projects this aura of being like a Leonardo da Vinci where he was misunderstood in his time.
Hey, he's Kanye Irving.
Yeah, he's so misunderstood in his time, but he'll be remembered as one of those great ball handlers that the league has ever had.
Hey, he's
that's
woke.
That's the vibe he carries.
He's woke, man.
He's so woke,
and he's
one of those. He's a self-described.
He's
woke
a self-described woke, is what I was going to get.
Whack. It's just whack.
You don't earn that. You gotta. You don't earn it if you self-describe yourself as.
Exactly. You call yourself woke, you're not woke, bro.
Hey, so who are you picking to win? I know who I'm picking, and it's pretty clear.
LeBron's team. It's a landslide. So it's a freaking landslide.
It just looks like they're gonna have more fun out there.
They're so well rounded, and then freaking Dame coming off the bench. I mean,
they got arguably the two best point guards. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, James. The only thing is James Harden is the best player coming off of either team's bench. I'd have to say,
Yeah.
But LeBron's bench is deep and like well.
I like Sabonis at the end there.
Yeah, he didn't pick Gobert.
Ben Simmons, man.
Oh, Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons plays D. I know they don't defense that much, but I feel like he'll play hard.
I just think, like, if I had to...
Braun got Gobert.
I know, but he was forced to at the end. Did you know? Did you see the other controversy? Let's move into this. That the two Jazz players were the last two off the board.
That's hella funny.
Did you hear about that? Donovan Mitchell and Gobert were the last two guys on there.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's hilarious.
Because they complain?
I
know Gobert cried.
I like Donovan Mitchell. I don't like Gobert at all. At all. I think that he robbed Draymond of a Defensive Player of the Year. He should not be a two-time Defensive Player of the Year. I think that he's very good defensively, but I think he's almost a liability on offense. Like, there's a monumental gap. Like, some Jazz fans are totally, like, naive and they get into their feelings. He's a top 5 center. I'd say he's the 5th center. But there's a giant gap between Jokic, Embiid, and I consider Giannis a center. There's a giant gap between them and the rest of the centers.
Totally.
And the Jazz fans I've seen on Twitter boast like, "Oh, he's a top 5 center." It's like, bro, there's like such a large, I think, between any position group. Those three guys are so much further ahead than the rest of the centers.
Defensively, Gobert has them, but I mean, you can't even touch, like, if you compare Jokic to him on the offensive end, it's not even close.
It's because Gobert's too tall. He's like the stifle like he just doesn't. But it's ironic because Embiid moves crazy well for his 7'2" or whatever. But
I see those guys when they match up. I see Jokic put in.
Oh, the talent disparity is just.
I see Jokic put in work on the guy who's a great defender. Like, Jokic can get what he wants on Gobert.
Embiid, Joker, and Giannis can take Rudy Gobert to the cleaners.
So it's I feel like Gobert's good at defending lackluster centers or like rookie centers.
I just feel like the center talent, is not that impressive. There's 10 good centers in the league.
So he's a great defender, but he can't take out the best offensive centers. So how good of a defender is he if he can't?
I get so sick of You're 100% right. I get so sick of Rudy Gobert getting talked up and Jazz fans getting so
He's really good
upset
at
about
blocking
it.
people that are like lesser to him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I don't think Rudy Gobert does not impress me.
No,
Like,
he doesn't.
He just does not impress me.
He just looks at me as a pick on somebody your own size kind of guy, and then when he
Yeah.
does, he just gets schooled.
Yeah, exactly. I do. Now, I would, to give Jazz fans some credit, I really love Donovan Mitchell. I think he's a beast.
I also like Mike
But-
Conley. I like seeing him get some
Yeah,
deserved
I'm just-
minutes and on a good team.
he's great. He's great on this team. He's like found his role, as a.
He's
older
always
guy.
been great.
Well, I know, but like this has been his first year, I feel, where he's really transitioned, into kind of a backup kind of role better, like a lesser, because he was great his entire career and he was an all-star, but I feel like this is his, how Carmelo's year was like, was it last year or the year before? Like, I feel like this is Conley's year where he's like moved into that, that sweet spot,
Yeah.
knowing his role. But anyways, I did think it was funny that the two Utah Jazz players didn't get picked until the very end.
You gotta love the troll, man.
I think it is a fine troll. I do think LeBron was right. If he had a little bit, if he had more size, I think he would have picked. I think he would have picked Donovan Mitchell over. Like, who overall would you pick Donovan Mitchell over in this entire crew? Like takeaway position. Like, Donovan Mitchell, I would probably pick over Julius Randle, Vucevic, and Sabonis. And obviously Rudy Gobert.
Wait, Julius Randle's not on his team?
No, I'm just talking overall. Like,
oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, talent.
Like, Donovan Mitchell isn't the second worst player on the entire of all the All-Stars.
I would take him maybe above Chris Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Just
Yeah,
scoring
Chris Paul.
wise.
Yeah, scoring wise. Yeah, I might take him over.
Just
Chris
right
Paul.
now, Chris Paul obviously has the better
Yeah,
career.
no, I would take him over Chris Paul. I as I'm thinking about it, I agree with you. I do think that Rudy Gobert is. I mean, Sabonis was a fill-in, but of the guys that actually got voted into the All-Star game, he is the worst player on both rosters.
Sabonis?
No, Rudy Gobert.
Gobert. Because I was going to say, Sabonis has had a remarkable season up to date.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with him.
And he could shoot the three, too. Like,
Yeah.
he could shoot the three at 6'11". Rudy Gobert can't shoot. I just think Rudy Gobert, I'm not trying to hate on Rudy Gobert, but I am going to hate on Rudy Gobert.
That's the Dean right there, guys. The
I
not
know.
trying to do, but I'm gonna do it.
But at least I'm honest about it.
Yeah, you are. You're very transparent.
I'm up front. Thank you. Yeah, I try to be. I love Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell is I think he is kind of overshadowed in the league, and I think he needs more. I think when the Jazz will go a little deeper this year in the playoffs, I think he'll get more recognition.
There is a tough spot for him though, because at the guard position, there's a lot of talent there.
There is. True.
And I know we would take him over Chris Paul, but there's a lot of guards that either have size or it's very competitive in that position.
I do think that even though Zach LaVine's averaging 28 a game,
Not that impressed.
the Bulls' offense is literally just for him and Colby White to just like jack up.
Well, what
shots,
about like
you know?
Julius Randle? He's playing really well on a Knicks team that's mediocre.
Yeah. Donovan. The thing with Donovan Mitchell, I think his numbers would be higher. I think Donovan Mitchell can average 28 a game. I think that because there's so many scorers on the Jazz, he doesn't need to. So I think
There's some standout players that are good, but they're kind of in a situation that lets them be great.
Exactly. So I think those hinder Donovan Mitchell's numbers a little bit.
But I don't think he's concerned with it. I think he's happy to be at the game, and this
no,
Jazz team is looking great.
I love Donovan Mitchell. I get
Spida?
sick of hearing. I just get sick of hearing about Rudy Gobert.
You love Spida?
I do. He's cool. I like him. He is very Dwayne Wade-esque.
Hey, so let's move this along here, and we're at an hour mark, and I would like to close things with the 3-point contest. We're not going to get into the dunk for obvious reasons. If you want to just quickly touch on that.
Yeah, I think the dunk contest is a joke, and the people that they get to judge are jokes. And I think the atrocity that happened last year, I don't think I'll ever watch. I think I need a couple years because I am emotionally hurt, even though I have literally no ties to Aaron Gordon. I think he got robbed so hard in the last dunk contest. Not the Zach LaVine one, but Derek Jones being on the Heat, and then Dwayne Wade being one of the factors. He lost by a point. I think it was crap.
So we think
I think it's political.
We think
I think it's like
the dunk contest is a joke.
What are you doing? And they don't. That's nice. I like the effect. I just think they don't get qualified refs to do it, and I do think they give out too many 10s. But Dwayne Wade said that last night, by the way, on TNT when they were doing the picks.
Do you like Dwayne Wade on there, by the way, substituting for Shaq?
I like Dwayne Wade. But
I don't think he's better than Shaq, right?
No, he's not better than Shaq. Shaq's the biggest personality in the entire league, even more so than Chuck, I think. But
I think Draymond gets on there at some point.
I think he will. I agree with you.
I think he could replace Kenny.
Kenny? Nah, Kenny's been on there too long.
The Jet?
They need a guard. They can't have a bunch of bigs.
Okay, all right. So sorry to sidetrack you.
No worries.
Dwayne Wade said.
He said that in his defense, they gave out too many 10s, but Dwayne Wade had no problems giving out 10s in the early rounds. So I just think he gave it to him because he's a Heat player, and I just think it's crap. But
it's just political, and
they have actors. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, but he should not be a judge at the dunk contest. He's an actor. He's not qualified. It's like asking an engineer to do it, essentially, or like an artist. Like, you don't know anything about it. You shouldn't be doing dunk.
I think after the Vince Carter days of dunk contest, those were probably the peak for me as a fan.
You mean the one in Oakland? That was sick. That was sick. That was a great one.
After that, it's become more and more like when Blake Griffin jumped over the car. That was just stupid.
The Kia?
He jumped over the hood. He didn't even jump over the whole thing.
The last one that I liked was Nate Robinson dunking over Dwight Howard.
That was cool. I didn't even like Dwight Howard's dunk that much.
No. Well, it's not impressive when you're so tall. That's the problem.
Yeah, it was kind of the Superman one was stupid.
When you're too tall, it doesn't look as cool.
I'm being a hater right now for sure. You guys.
I know it's harder for a big guy to make a dunk look cool when you're that size.
No, completely.
The sweet spot is 6'4" to 6'7" or 6'8". That's where the guys have springs. But anyways, Aaron Gordon got robbed last year. I'm not talking about the dunk contest. I have no interest in watching it. So the 3-point contest. So would you like to say who's in it?
Yeah. So this year's 3-point contest is going to be featuring the greatest 3-point shooter of all time, and Steph Curry.
The greatest shooter of all time.
The greatest shooter of all time. You're right. Sorry. I was busy looking up who's in it.
No worries.
Devin Booker, the guy who's put up the most points in a single round. As you have,
yeah. So him and Steph have won it before. I think Steph 2016, Booker 2018.
And then it's also going to be featuring a couple Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Personally, I don't know why both of them need to be there, but that's cool. And then Zach LaVine and Donovan Mitchell.
I think because Dame didn't want to do it.
And if I'm a betting man here, I might take Steph Curry out of this group.
Yeah, I would take Devin Booker or Steph. I mean, Zach LaVine has a really pretty shot, but I don't know. I'm gonna decide between it's gonna be one of the former champions. It's gonna be Steph or Devin.
Yeah.
I would like to add though. So I found out this today actually. So the 3-point contest, you have a rack of 4 balls, 4 regular balls, and then you get the 5 money balls at the end, right?
Yeah.
So the max score is 32. Devin Booker, I think, got 28. I think that's the highest score ever. I think it's 28 or it's 32. I forget, but it's one of those. but the max point is 34 points. But this year, because of Stephen Curry probably, and how Dame too, and how guys love the long ball, they've added 2 balls. So the max used to be 34 points.
Yeah.
You can get 40 points now. So instead of, the money balls are worth 2 points?
Yeah.
There are 2 balls. They're called the Mountain Dew zones. And they will sit 6 feet behind the 3-point line.
Oh, I love that.
And each ball holds 1 green ball worth 3 points.
Wow.
So, and they added, instead of doing 60 seconds, they're giving them 70 seconds to do it, which is a lot of time.
Well, that gives them 5 extra seconds for those 2 balls.
But that helps them with the whole thing, I think. Like, that's 10
so you can
seconds
either
is a lot of
decide
time.
and be like, all right, do I want to go out of my way to get this shot? I got to make sure that fits my time. It's essentially speed running. You're probably not familiar with it, but you got to figure out how you can make the most time and what's the most efficient way to get through it.
Yeah.
So it might not even be worth it to go for the mountain shot if you can go through the whole thing and have time and be more effective in the regular shots.
I honestly think the strategy, and I don't know anything, I'm not a shooter, and I'm very mediocre at basketball. I think the smart way to go would be to run through the whole thing and then come back, because I feel like you want to stay locked into that zone, You know, I wouldn't want to, I don't know who cares about it. I wouldn't want to go back 6 feet, shoot, and then move back 6 feet, come back in, shoot 6 feet. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like that's something that maybe we might only see one attempt at it, and maybe it's something that like a guy like Steph Curry does to just show how hot he is. If he's on a roll,
they gave him 10 extra seconds. I think everyone's going to shoot all the balls. I think they're going to shoot the 2. I think everyone's going to. It's a 3-point ball. It's worth 3 times what a normal ball.
But you made a really good point, and the strategy of it, it could affect how you're doing the other shots closer.
It will totally. Thank you. Yeah. It will totally. I don't.
And 10 seconds is a lot, but you got to attribute the detour you got to take. You got to pick the ball up. I could see that being like 3 to 4 seconds if you do it fast.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're going to make the other shots not worth it.
I think the only way for the 70 seconds, I think you can't run it through and then do them at the end. I don't think you have enough time.
You won't.
So I think you do have to do it in the middle.
Yes.
So that's rough. That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Everyone's going to take those shots, though. I think you're kind of – I don't think you're forced to, but everyone's going to do it.
I think we're going to see it being taken, but I'm just saying the wisest decision might be to focus your energy on the closer shots with the 10 extra seconds that they give you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think they added. They're going to want the players to take those shots.
No, they're going to definitely.
Those are the.
I would bet my life that Steph Curry will take one of those.
I think they're all going to take all of them. I don't think they're going to skip over them. There were too many points. But I do think those 2 in this contest specifically, I think that totally benefits Zach LaVine, Steph, and Devin Booker because they shoot the deep threes.
Yeah.
Like Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum aren't deep 3 shooters.
Donovan Mitchell, maybe.
Sometimes. I mean, often Zach LaVine, Booker, and Steph shoot from there,
Yeah.
So I think it benefits the 3 of them. But I think it's freaking cool. I think it's
like
really
it.
awesome they added those
it's
2.
a nice variation to what we've seen, happening for so many years now. That
I've always loved the 3-point contest. They haven't ruined it. It's my favorite contest because it's like the skills is like, it's
there's less opinion involved and more just like skill.
And the dunk is so opinionative,
It's just the most like true and like. It's the most competitive for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's
love
why
the
you like
3-point
it.
contest. I'm really stoked.
You love competition, Dean, and it's hard not to
Yeah.
enjoy a competition with the best 3-point shooters.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
I do wish. I would like to add. I do wish Dame was doing it though.
Me too.
Instead of one of the Celtics.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense to me to add both of those guys, but hey, who knows?
Well, you gotta. Well, the thing is, you got to agree to do it. Dame must have said no, is what I was saying earlier.
They probably just needed him, and they were probably like, "Oh, let's go."
He's probably just tired, and he doesn't want to deal with it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I see that we're at a minute, or sorry, not a minute, an hour, hour 14 here. I'm pretty content with what we've talked about.
Yeah, a lot of basketball talk.
So we'll be returning after the All-Star break, whenever that is, probably sometime next week, to discuss NBA.
The game, everything's on Sunday.
So we'll probably come back sometime
March
next
7th.
week. We'll have a schedule posted, and we're gonna try and stick to that.
Most likely, we're gonna try and do Mondays,
Mondays,
and then Fridays or Saturdays. One of those days. We're gonna try and get on a schedule. I know, guys. I apologize that we've been bouncing around and not giving you guys a schedule. That's whack. We're most likely going to do Mondays and then Friday or Saturday.
So we'll be getting that schedule, so don't you guys worry. Had to hit it one more time for the fans.
Love those special effects, man. Love those.
We're going to be adding those too.
Yes, sir.
So we'll see you guys after the break, and thank you so much for watching and hanging out.
Thanks a lot. Have a great Friday, people.
Happy Friday.